See, a lot of people think that in order to make anybody miss you, you have to do no contact and they have to like you. And that's kind of true, right? But there is one thing that's missing. You need three things that's very specific. And there's one little element that a lot of people miss that really is what creates the wildfire. You know, love is like a fire, right? And the fire needs two things to combust and oxygen, right? And a lot of people don't know what that oxygen is in this case. And a lot of us believe that it is space, which is the oxygen, and it is true. But what is it that keeps that fire alive? So look, let me tell you something. The first two things you need, obviously, is the emotion, right? The chemistry. If there's no emotion, like I always say, nothing that you do will solidify. Right, the emotion is what keeps everything together. No, the emotion is what is the building blocks of any love that you feel towards people. Okay, now after that, once you have the emotion, obviously you need space. Okay, we always talk about that because sometimes when we feel emotions towards people, we're not really that aware of what's going on inside of us because we're so captivated by this other person that we never take a moment to self-reflect how we feel. We never take a moment to just unwind and relax, right? And allow whatever's inside of us to take root. We never do that because we're interacting, we're feeling good. And so we never allow ourselves to think of different things and notice where our minds naturally gravitate to, right? Because when we're around the other person, we're not really thinking of them. They're there. And so we're in their presence and it feels good. But we don't realize the love that we have for the person in that moment. It's only when we have the option to think of multiple and an infinite amount of things that we notice our minds just for some reason gravitating like a magnetic field gravitating towards the thought of this person, and then we say, oh my God, I think I like this person. But the crucial element that really solidifies things and that nobody talks about on YouTube is just one thing: a narrative. You need a narrative. Put it this way: love is like a seed that takes root, and that taking of root takes time. Once the seed takes root, this is the most vulnerable moment in a plant. It needs it because that's how it accesses water and nutrients, right? So the most vulnerable period of any plant or tree is a moment when it's taking root, and that's when most plants or trees die, right? And that taking of root is in the first month of most relationships. And so this moment, this vulnerable, this makes them vulnerable. And once this happens, once the root takes root on the ground, the plant becomes more independent, able to access resources from the soil and thrive on its own, right? So this is the same thing with space. Once the space is created, a crucial thing is needed: a narrative, right? So just like a plant, it needs time to take root. And in this case, the emotions, you need to spend a lot of time with the person, not a lot of time, but you need to spend enough time with this person so that the idea of you takes root in their minds, so that you become a normal part of their lives. You're not something new no more. You need to become a normal part of their lives. That's what I'm talking about, the habitualization. And in addiction, you call this the addiction process, the habitualizing, or gaining tolerance for that substance, right? When you gain tolerance for that substance, that's when your body becomes dependent, right? And so in this case, the plant becomes dependent on the ground, and so it could thrive on its own. But the problem that we have with that is that people either pull away too soon, or the emotions are not intense enough, right? And you know that where if you do this process, and you could know that the emotions aren't intense enough by the way they react to you, by the way they react to you pulling away, right? But most importantly, how they react to the narrative. Let's talk about the narrative. This is very powerful. You know, humans always are trying to rationalize their decision making, right? Humans are very superstitious creatures. If you notice, baseball players, they believe that if they tap their legs 3 times, and they'll hit a home run. Or if basketball players, before they hit free throws, they have their own routine. They go like that, shoot, or even some go like that, shoot. Humans are superstitious, and humans believe in narratives a lot. And if you notice people who are in love, they all have a narrative, right? They all have almost like a, oh, this is wrong. They all have a superstition about their relationship. What does that mean? When I'm in love with someone, you'll notice that you'll start looking for little things that connects you guys. Oh my God, we met on the full moon. Or, oh my God, we look alike. We're meant to be together. Or, oh my God, we're part of the same religion. Or, oh, we love to meditate. You look for any compatibility, anything that on paper is good, and you exaggerate that quality. And and there are some narratives that are stronger than others. For example, spirituality and religion and trying to assert that there's a higher purpose to this relationship is the most powerful kind, right? Where you say, oh, this we met, or we are soulmates, right? Or we are twin flames, right? Or you are my shadow side, or we knew each other in our past lives. When somebody doesn't love you and you tell that shit to them, they'll be like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? No, we did not meet on our past lives. We're not like that. When somebody loves you, they'll look for anything. Oh my God, your birthday is the same as mine, but if you add 2 + 2 = 4, that equals the amount of sisters that I have, but also that's the same month that I was born in. People, when they're in love, they make those types of connections. For example, maybe you're dating someone and you guys both have the same birthday, right? People who are in love will find that fascinating and will see a higher purpose to you being together. People who are not in love will not even think about the fact that you guys may have the same birthday. And it doesn't add to it. But what happens is that when you like someone, the emotions will create links, unnecessary links in different places to create almost like a cult-like narrative between the two of you guys. But you need a narrative, right? Where you guys say we're meant to be together. God brought us together, right? Or you're my. Another example could be you came at the right time, right? Or I'm healing and now you're here, right? All you have to do with somebody that actually likes you, make connections. It may not seem that important, but I can promise you, if somebody loves you, they will use those little connections like numerology, astrology, religion. They will use those connections and they will use that almost like wind to spread the fire. That's really what happens a lot, right? But when you're not in love, what you'll notice, when they're not in love, what you'll notice is that doesn't happen. So it's not just about making sure that they like you back and also creating space. You also have to create a narrative. And that narrative, you could just observe what are the things that you guys have in common, you know, and spiritualize the relationship, because this is what naturally happens when people fall in love, right? So this is what I wrote. When you're in love, you create a narrative. Give them a narrative. But when you're not in love, no matter what you do, it won't add to the feeling. The feelings create the narrative. And that narrative is the mental movie they see of you. That narrative is like the movie storyline. And everyone's love life is like a movie. And you want to give them a very compelling movie with a lot of unprecedented connections. And all you have to do is point them out. That's all. We're both Virgos, or we're both compatible, this or that, right? The person might not believe in any of that kind of stuff, right? But observe if they're not into that type of like religion or spirituality. Find anything. Oh my God, we look alike. Oh my God, we're perfect matches. Oh my, like we are good looking. We will have good looking kids, as an example of that. As long as you're not needy, and as long as you say you don't want a relationship, you can say that and you can get away with it. And it was funny is that a girl did that to me once, where she told me, "Oh my God, we will have good looking kids," and I know she wasn't that into me, but it kind of got into my head. I'm like, yeah, we would have good looking kids, you know. And then I just started thinking about it. I'm like, yeah. And then I realized I started having a mental movie of having kids with her. And then that narrative enhanced the feeling that I have for her. Ladies and gentlemen, narratives are powerful, you know. And narratives are things that people don't think about, but you have to understand humans are superstitious. Humans are, this is what religions are made of. They're made of narratives of what happened, and narratives to explain the unexplainable, right? And humans do believe that. And once they believe in a narrative, Everything that happens, the emotions will add on to that narrative like a black hole, attracting matter, and it creates a stronger gravitational field. And that narrative is your life movie. That narrative is your relationship. That narrative is what's gonna drive you to stay with this person even if they're toxic. It's what's gonna drive you to stay with this person even if they're not the perfect match. Because the narrative has a bias, and that bias is to keep you with that person. An example is that people who say, "Oh, I smoke crack for energy," or "I smoke weed because," as an example, right? "I smoke weed because it makes me more creative." No, it doesn't. Seriously, the studies show it doesn't make you more creative. Or "I do heroin because it keeps me connected with my friends." "I do Molly because it makes partying so much fun." "I do this because..." Every drug addict will have a narrative, or better yet, will have a rationalization as to their behavior. Now, you have to understand is that this happens because our brains are wired to seek patterns and meanings, right? And creating narratives helps us make sense of our emotions and experiences, and it also enhances, right? But also people could use it to manipulate it, right? If you give them a different narrative, it could go in the opposite direction, right? It's a way to cultivate a sense of connection and belonging, right? And this is how it's done, people. Without a narrative, the emotions that they feel will be fickle, and it'll fade away over time, right? And that's why, for example, couples who go through a lot of breakups, couples who go through a lot of hardship together, they create a narrative of resilience where we've been through all of this and he is still with me. That's a positive narrative, where you guys been through battles together, where you guys helped each other over time. You helped me become a better musician. You helped me become a better father, right? And those narratives, the victories, the positive experiences you guys had will enhance the feelings you guys have for each other. Like in war, right? If you're a good general, you want to give your troops little victories at first to increase morale. They call that the group myth, right? A team without a group myth hasn't really solidified strong morale in war. So the best way to do that is to find easy victories, similar to how boxing, if you have a boxing prodigy, you give them easy victories to hype them up, but also give them a narrative of winning and give them the confidence. This narrative in this case is overcoming obstacles, is going through that first year, second year, and actually celebrating it, creating a narrative, saying how you helped me with this, how you helped me with that, and all of those things will enhance and will give them a more. It will like add to the black hole to create more of that emotion. Narratives, people. Narratives. That's what kids have with parents, right? When they think of you, they have a narrative of how their childhood was and who you represent in their lives. And it's truly a powerful thing, people. So you have emotion, you have space, but the most important, not the most important, but it's what binds it all together. It's the narrative. It's what will keep the relationship alive for a long period of time, people. All right. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and it's one of those epiphanies that I have from time to time that I find really fascinating, and I think you guys will really like. If you guys want to work with me one-on-one, go to mindfulattraction.org, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys ever want to learn how to use your feminine energy to influence people, learn how to use your masculine energy to become more assertive, and also learn how to blend both energies to improve your dating life, your spiritual life, honestly, your relationship life, your family life, your career life, this is the course for you. If I had to make a course for my nieces, I have two nieces, one is 19 and one is 15. 16. Holy shit. Oh my God, he's a bad fucking uncle. He's a bad uncle. Get him. Shut up, Melissa. You should get this course, right? And this is the course that I will make for them. So, for example, watch the curriculum, right? In the first week, we're going to be showing you how to establish a strong masculine foundation without letting it hurt your feminine energy. This masculine foundation is a source of who you are, right? It's your bodyguard. Without this, whatever feminine energy you create will be destroyed by the outside, because your masculine is your shield. So we'll talk about goal setting. We'll talk about how to develop a serious attitude. We're gonna be talking about how to use more logic, how to use more goal-oriented behavior. It's more how to be a man. Now the next one is how to embrace the feminine energy, right? This one would teach you about how to minimize excessive masculine traits, developing self-awareness, healing abundant feminine energy, regulating your emotion, mastering voice qualities and facial expressions, surrendering control, and allowing pain to be felt. This is honestly, this will supercharge, like Kaioken, your masculine energy. After that, we have femininity in the workplace, and how to be feminine in the workplace without letting people take advantage of you, and the nuances of how women on power should behave versus women who are subordinates in the workplace, and even the dress code. This is based on psychology, people. It's kind of insane. I'm actually excited about this one. The next week, we talk about navigating the labyrinth of male and female friendship, and this a lot of women find confusing, so we talk about that. And how to identify envious friends, how to identify the good friends, how to keep male friends, and how to keep female friends. Week 5, we talk about how to release the burden of the past and stop and destroy mental projections. This is actually really powerful. And then week 6, we talk about how to increase your observational power so that you could read people better. And we have a bunch of bonuses. The course starts at $99, and you guys can pre-order the course today at $69 before it goes out. If you're watching this, most likely I'm in the meditation retreat, so most likely I will be praying for all of you guys. And just click on the description down below of the video. Right there, you'll see it, and you could pre-order that course. It's gonna be out by the end of next month or the beginning of February of March. One of the two, people, because I have a 10-day retreat to do, and I want to finish the course after the retreat, because I think the ideas are gonna be so much better. All right, man. I'll see you guys later. Pre-order, man. I'm closing the channel.